Hi everyone, Rosie here from Esk. How are you? Well, I'm sitting here in my Mosaic studio, aka my 3-bay carport, and you might be able to hear lawnmowers and other things going out here in beautiful Esk. I was going to have a chat with you about glues, and I was going to show you lots of glues, but the reality is that there are so many rights with glues and very few wrongs, and the best thing to understand the wrongs is to understand why. So I was going to run through with you about things to consider with your glue selection. And the first one is the use by date. The use by date should be on the bag or the bottle. And if you're buying a glue, you want to make sure it's well within its use by date and that you can finish it within that particular use by date. If you're grabbing a glue out of your storeroom at home, you want to make sure you're still within your use by date, because that way it's going to be effective. The other thing with our glues is they often have to be stored at certain temperatures. Some glues fail at freezing, some don't. Some will fail if they get too hot, some won't. In Esk, we get down to -6 and up to 47 degrees. So I keep all my glues inside. It's pretty clear why. I want them to work. So it's about proper storage as well. There are some glues that you can't have any moisture get into them, and I keep those ones inside sealed plastic tubs, and that helps improve the moisture, the keeping the moisture out of them. Moisture, that's a really good thing. Maybe we'll talk about water resistance. Some glues say that they're water resistant. Isn't that wonderful? I wonder what it means. Well, unfortunately, it means different things for different glues. And it's what the manufacturer thinks it means. It could be 2 drops of rain and 40% humidity, or it could be a summer storm or more. But what it doesn't mean is it will not handle pooled water. So if water's going to lay in it for a while, that glue has a high likelihood of failure. So when it comes to water resistance, it's often best to ask the Mosaic pages, the gurus on them, for some help as to what that actually means. And if you can't work out what it means, assume it means inside only. That's the best way to manage it. Now, I've mentioned pooled water, so some glues will say that they can handle pooled water, so that's like a water bowl. Others will say that they're pool safe. What pool safe means is that you can make a mosaic and pop it in your domestic swimming pool, fill it up with water, and it's going to be tickety-boo. Well, as long as everything's cured, of course. As well as water, we've got to worry about heat. And with the heat, does the glue expand and contract? Will it fail? Will it melt? Those things you need to understand, because there again we get our mosaic failures from. Along with heat, we have something called UV. So it might be able to handle heat, but it can't handle UV. And if it can't handle UV and you've got any glass and it's outside, then your glue might discolour or your glue might fail. So I always like to ensure that my outdoor mosaics are using a UV stable glue and can handle pooled water. That way, regardless of what happens, be it a tropical cyclone, or a week or a month of really sunny weather, everything's going to be okay. Now, glues can stick to both the tess, the thing you're mosaicing with, and the substrate, the thing you're mosaicing on. So you need to check that your glue will adhere to both of those things. That you will find on the side of your glue or on the data sheets. The data sheets are online, so you need to take your phone with you and look them up if you're purchasing. With your substrate, you need to ensure that it's got no flexibility in it. You see, some people go, "Oh, look, my glue failed, isn't it terrible?" And they've put it on some wobbly thing that's been wobbling away for years, and the real surprise is how the glue lasted that long. You want your substrates to be nice and firm and without flex, because even if your glue can handle just a tiny little bit of flex, your grout might have some issues. So keep that substrate nice and strong. Sometimes when you pop on a mosaic page, people will come up and you say, "What kind of glue do you want to use?" People will come up and they'll go, "Oh, use cement-based adhesive, use silicone, use PVA." use this polymer glue. And these are types of glue. Then the next lot of people are going to come along and they're going to give you brands. They're going to go Gorilla Glue, No Nails, Well Bond, Sellies, Davco. And again, that's just a brand name. You really need the information of the type of glue that they're recommending, and then you can check it to ensure that it's actually going to meet your needs by reading the bottle and reading the data sheets and asking that person some further questions. So the other thing you're going to find on your data sheets is about safety equipment. Do you need to wear gloves to protect your hands? Do you need to wear a mask to protect your lungs? Do you need to be outside? That kind of information, really important to know when using your adhesive. The other thing to understand is that grout is not glue. Grout is designed to go between two pieces of tess in a little gap, and the width of that gap depends upon the grout and how wide it can go. That too is on the grout bag, by the way. Some people say they've used grout as glue, and how you do that is through additives that change grout to be glue. So often that information is also on the bag or on the data sheet as to what you can use to turn your grout into glue, which can be quite handy sometimes. Anyway, I'm hoping that all that information isn't too confusing, and that there's something in there that you've learnt or remembered that will help you choose an appropriate glue for you to use in the future. So have a nice day. Bye.